aka Faker. So, but you know, we're still here. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna enjoy. We're gonna be rooting on Gen.G as we hope they repeat as EWC champions.
I mean, for you, Arnold, we were chatting a little bit before this. Like, it's very rare that Gen.G ever get time off. You guys win so much. It's like, it's kind of a win. Like, hang on, we had time to actually look at other teams and prep for a tournament with a bit more space for once in the org's existence.
You know, actually, that's a good point. One of the things that was really new for us was, you know, we were scrimming all throughout NSI. Yeah. And we could kind of see a draft and see a tournament from outside in. And that was just so helpful for us, right? It's a little hard now that like all the like changes that we made, we have to kind of like do it live at a really important tournament. But you know, I think that was something that that we're excited to kind of show like a new form and kind of like a new Gen.G, and just, you know, really adapt. And you know, at the end of the day, like other teams got better and we need to get better too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think another side I want to talk about, and it's not just the players that are looking so good as we do enter into draft, but it's also the esports collaboration that we're getting from Gen.G and GARM as well. Like, you guys have been doing some really cool stuff out there. And TK, I might pass it to you. Like, how are you finding working with such a fantastic org like Gen.G and GARM looking so good doing it too?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many fans in Vietnam that just love Gen.G. So we've, you know, me and Arnold have had some banter over the years, have some fun. I've broken into the Gen.G HQ in Korea on several occasions, but it's been a lot of fun to just be able to do that and bring that to the fans in Vietnam. So we just did a watch party together. I mentioned on one of the top nightclubs in the world. It's actually number 68, and doing something different, you know, just changing the game with how we be able to experience a watch party along with Gen.G.
I mean, of course, keep an eye on the draft here as well. We've seen the Rise coming on, we've seen the Anivia get hovered here for JDG, and of course, or the other way around, the sides have been switched. It shows how much I was paying attention there for a second. But again, both these teams are no strangers to international play. Both of them were at first stand. They're both pretty scary. And I suppose coming into this, you're prepping for a region, a team like JDG, who you're like, hey, I've not seen them in a while either. Like, what's the process to even look at coming to a tournament with so many teams coming from all over the place?
You know, I know this is just an uncle's opinion over here. I know you got two uncles over here talking about gaming. I'm sure everybody wants to learn about the draft. But, you know, from my side, you know, we really wanted to like really study drafts and really push ourselves to have a new strategy around it. And we want to try to like really start showing it throughout the whole season and really show that like, hey, you know what? We have to, at this point with this new meta, we have to be so much more flexible. Yeah. And, you know, especially, you know, looking towards like growing and getting better at it every day. Because I think everyone's still figuring out this meta.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. We can already see as well now that we get into the draft a little bit more and we're seeing the picks come in. We're seeing the Rise, we're seeing the Nocturne picked up for JDG. Gen.G now looking in that Anivia and the Ezreal, so that Anivia being that nice little flex. And I think that's one of those good things is you talked about the flexibility of your players and being able to play these unique picks that might not be like Anivia's always been that mid laner. Now we're seeing it in the top side. We're seeing it sort of flex around. How would you say the boys are actually feeling picking up these new skills that they have to learn for these champions?
You know, I think you know, it was really good for both the players and the coaches to have kind of like that reality check of like, hey, you know what? We really have to show a little bit of unpredictability. We have to flex where we need to. And you can kind of see that, you know, at least in game one and here too, like you can kind of see the approach that we're having. I don't want to reveal too much.
No. You have to be very careful. It's like, whoops, the CEO said this. I think it's for you as well, TK. Like, as you're coming into a competition like this, and you're going, hey, all of these champions are being flexed everywhere. What can you do as kind of like heading up an organization to set your players up for success? Because suddenly they're being asked to do some pretty crazy things. They're coming into a tournament that's asking you to fly across the world. There's so many other games happening simultaneously. It's a massive event. Like, what do you do to set your players up for success?
I mean, at the end of the day, for us, when we're flying, we want to try to take care of their health, right? And making sure that they're in a good state and they're having, you know, they're not jet lagged. And how do we just make sure that they're the best version of themselves when they step onto the floor? So all the draft stuff, I'm going to leave that to our head coaches. But with everything else related to the health mindset, I'm always going to help them to try to level up the energy and level up their mood so that they can focus in on what they got to do.
All right, well, we might close it off with one final question for both of you. It's like, if there's a champion you'd like to see come back into the meta, what champion would you like it to be? So, TK, who would you like as champion?
You know what? I am not quite sure who I would say, actually. So I'm going to have to throw this one to Arnold.
Arnold?
Oh, very good. There you go.
I was a Shackle one trick.
No!
So I've never seen it.
Get him off!
Play with Gen.G. So one of these days, you know, whether it's as a support or whether it's, you know, top or jungle somewhere, that'd be amazing.
All right, so Canyon, you've heard here first. You need to be careful. Bring out the Shaco soon.
Yeah.
But no, guys.
That's the contract re-signing there. It's in a little hidden passage.
Well, we might leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. We'll get back into this draft so we can give the viewers at home the great EWC 2026 experience. Thank you all so much for jumping out. Have a fantastic rest of your time here. And guys, come check them out. They are going to be watching, and have a great day.
Let's go. Gen.G 2-0, come on.
Well, that was pretty cool. That was really fun to have these two come on. They are such characters. They're so willing to show why they love esports, why they love this game, and why they are here in the first place, right? And it's pretty cool to have them come chat about all of this stuff. We'll have to lock into draft at this point because we're into the second phase and we're about to round things out.
Yeah, and if I see a Shaco, I'll lose my mind. That's
no. If Arnold has forced that, I would genuinely lose my mind.
But we're here. We're so close to the end. We had an awesome chat. Let's just break down what we've got locked in and where they're going to be going. So we do see it is the Rise, Nocturne, Rumble, Xayah, Rakan. Such a strong staple bot lane has been locked in for JDG. So some good safety, nice rotations. But Gen.G, they're looking to mix things up ever so slightly as they do have the Anivia, Ezreal, the Ambessa being locked in, Wukong, and the Nico support.
So when we saw that Rise come on in, it was a pretty easy Anivia round. It's been used into the Rise pretty consistently. For a while, it was the Cassiopeia, but that's already been banned, and the Anivia does just fine. Between that and the Nico, your ability set up with a Cyclone as well, you can look for very aggressive team fights with a significant amount of burst. I do think these drafts are somewhat more even. Honestly, looking at JDG here, with the fact that you've got the double global of the Nocturne and the Rise ult, very good team fighting as well, with a lot of zone control. Equalizer, feathers coming back and forth with that E from the Xayah as well. The Rise and the Rune Prison. I do think this one looks a lot simpler for JDG to execute than we saw last time, and I'm expecting, at least from draft, a touch more even of a matchup.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I think top lane's where there's going to be a lot of that focus too. The Ambessa, especially for Kiin, is very aggressive. They're going to be trying to push this tempo, but you're into a rumble. The flamethrower is going to hurt, so if you overstep a little bit too much, you can just get chased out, but luckily those dashes are pretty short cooldown. We'll have to see how that's going to look for them, but if you had to pick right now, who do you think's got this?
I still think I favor Gen.G, partly because I think the Anivia is going to be a little bit of a kingmaker here. Wall for the Xayah is something you can't just Featherstorm out of. You are relatively short range as a Xayah. You're great with people coming into you, and there's a lot of that. There's the Wukongs and the Ambessas and Eco coming forwards as well. But Ezreal and Anivia can just choose to sit a bit further back. The Rise simultaneously doesn't have a great matchup into the Anivia post a certain point as well. And then again, it's that slight lack of range that I think Gen.G, if they are playing as they were in that first game, which is to say well, could just use that range advantage and that zone control to make the Xayah and the Rise suffer a little bit. It's still a lot more even, and you still have to go into some pretty nasty zones from JDG.
And I think JDG, on the other side of that, I'm going to give them some props too. I think the Rumble and the Rise is going to be really strong mid-late. If they come online and they're not really too affected in this early game, they're going to do a really good job and get a lot of damage off in these team fights. As long as they can get that locked down, Rakan's going to get those little entrances. It could spell a little bit of disaster for the pick potential.
I just love behind us, hearing the gyos, hearing the fightings. Add oil is the phrase from the JDG fans. It is something from motorsport, and it is so cool to hear it live, for me at least in the first place. We've got the Korean chants as well. It's so cool to see this rivalry live on stage, defending EWC winners from 2025 Gen.G. Again, not the easiest spring split. They didn't go to MSI, which was a bit of a shock for an organization that has been so dominant there. Bit of a fight over the level 1 Raptors.
Yeah, no, I don't think too much going to be here. They're just trying to fight it out, but this is going to start delaying a little bit of that extra tempo for these junglers that want to try and get that level 6 spike.
Chovy got junked pretty low, but hasn't lost the egg. You are fighting a not low level 1. This is spicy.
It's going to be enough as Canyon looking to go back in.
Oh,
Chovy is low. Canyon goes down. Canyon's low, so JDG do a good job. Flashes go forward.
Oh,
First
God.
blood to Gala. They can take the egg too. It's a double going
Duro.
through. It could be a triple as well. Duro's trying to run away, keeping Ruler out, but it's just disastrous here. Gala going forward once more. Triple kill for Gala at 1.5 minutes. Absolute debacle.
A debacle's one way of putting it. It's a catastrophe for Gen.G. It could not have gone worse. Nocturne is the level 1 jungler at the minute. The level 6 spike I don't care about. No one in the eastern regions cares about that right now. I exaggerate a bit for comic effect. But one of the major reasons you lock the Nocturne in is because you win the level 1 Raptor fights. Guess what? They won the level 1 Raptor fights. Egg gone from Chovy. Dead. You've got a kill onto Canyon. Flash blown as well. Duro dies at all of the kills went to Gala. He's not had an easy spring split. He's going to have a damn well easier time here in Game 2 with that incredible start.
Especially going up a player like Ruler, that is just going to be that ease of execution, be able to move forward, farm a little bit better. You can already see getting the boots, a dagger, and a cull. So getting that early stacking online is going to be really nice. That injection of gold as it gets down to 0 is going to be absolutely huge. Let's watch this back because it was fights split up so hard, and Chovy just sort of struggling into HongQ.
Deathfire touch. Eventually, the Anivia does well into the rise. Early on, it's a lot more even, and the moment the egg goes down, Canyon just doesn't have a tool. He's a Wukong. He's got very limited ways to get out. They don't punish the Nocturne, who gets to go through multiple passes. Those Umbra blades are disgusting. Gala is here, free-firing the entire time. You're there with Rakan. They get to start with some seriously potent abilities and pick up all of the kills. It could not have gone worse. Chovy, yeah, he's up, what? 3 gold there, but he's down the egg. He's down a very rough time. We're going to see some of these resets. Hell, look at Gala gone back for boots, dagger, and a cull already.
Yeah, look, it's a tall order. 770 gold lead just on Gala after that extended fight. But now we're back in laning phase, a little bit more control. I think it really is on Chovy here to try and keep HongQ in the lane because there was that huge sort of health and mana differences. Another good knock-up Ruler. I'm going to land those arcane shifts into the Mystic shot is always nice to see. But now forcing them back, forcing them to retreat into base, gives Gen.G a little bit more space in this bot lane.
Yeah, and I just also want to keep an eye on some of the jungle pathing here. You can see JunJia is understandably ahead of the curve right now because, of course, Canyon died and has to go back to base. JunJia can choose to go towards his top side and realistically fight this, because the thing is, Canyon dying at that level 1 meant that even though we got that reset for free, I put that in inverted commas, but a bot lane play, Gala
staying, a little bit too much, but the root is good. Ruler has to flash. They're going down. Vampire picked up their kill. It's all JDG right now in this early game.
Sucking. There is nothing left in the Gen.G bot lane there. They get another kill, and of course, you've got to remember with the Xayah Rakan, the battle dance range is extended with the pairing. Flash E takes you 2 screens easily, and Rakan saves his lover.
Oh, look, and we can just watch this back. Duro being proactive and saying, okay, Gala stayed, it's a huge wave. It's getting the lockdown, holding on, but Arcane shifting forward back towards the wall is not the place you want to be as this Ezreal. Trying to get out there, burning the flash is not good.
Compare this to last game. Compared how controlled, how confident Gen.G were. The game plan could not have gone more wrong. You can tear it up, you can throw it in the shredder, you can set it on fire. A bit like the wave there. It's done.
They should have just played Shaco.
Maybe that's the plan for Game 3. We'll see where that all ends up. And of course, this has now led to JDG with a very strong early gold lead. It's put JunJia well ahead of the races. He's not even backed yet, so this will at least be the tunneler plus the longsword. He is so potent right now. Kiin's going to go towards a Hex Drink as well, but you are into double AP, double Deathfire touch laner, so that makes sense in that regard. But I think Gen.G's game plan is going to be a lot harder to execute from this kind of deficit this early, because that gold lead for me is only going to balloon from this point because it's just going to be behind that 10-20 seconds on the map, and a lot of that punish will go to Canyon, who's on Kiin's going to go jungle level Hex Drink once the first item, and it's an expensive one, plus the level 6.
Yeah, no, absolutely. See, JunJia is down in this bot side too, only level 5, so it doesn't have that paranoia online to really make these strong cross-map plays. But now just getting vision over the dragon. First objective on the board, it is a mountain, so a little bit of extra tankiness, a little bit of shielding, not going to be too bad for either side. But as the game has started to slow down at the 6-minute mark, we'll have to see where the priority is, and you're right, it is so much on Canyon now. We did see that fantastic first dragon steal in Game 1. We might have to be seeing it again, and if Canyon's got the hands, I think they can pull that off.
It will be... It's going to be challenging, right? Because the scaling is good. good from Gen.G. We've seen what Ezreal's can do at 3 items, especially in a game where you outrange and have that ability to dance around with good arcane shifts and good ability haste, reduced cooldowns, right? That's key. We talked about the Anivia and how that zone control of the walls can be frustrating for champions like Xayah, champions like Ryze. The problem is with things like the Nocturne, with things like that Ryze being able to get out on the map a little earlier, you've got that ability to turn the lights off, look for a Realm Warp flank, and suddenly that ability to hold that distance ain't quite so simple.
Yeah, and big props right now to Vampire, 100% kill participation, even in the early game. I don't like to see Rakan ever with those sort of numbers on the board.
It's not a great sign.
No, because their ability to move around the map and disrupt a play with the quickness is going to be so big, especially for the likes of an Mbessa who wants to be in these fights and getting slowed down. Same with the Wukong. Taking Canyon out of these fights is going to be so massive, and with this deficit, still struggling to get these items online, it's going to be a little bit easier to secure the early game.
And look, as a personal point of... I'm not sure how I want to phrase this. This is a personal thing with League. If I see a Rakan in the game, I am always more scared if Rakan has a way to obfuscate his way into a fight. With the E specifically, that battle dance. Something like a Wukong where you can jump to an invisible Wukong. Something like a Nocturne with the lights out where you can use that to cover a flank or to E to the Nocturne mid-flight and then use the W and the R to engage. Makes him so much more unpredictable. We are in a game with Realm Warps, with Nocturnes, and a Rakan that is now going to be ahead of the curve and out on the map with vision control. That makes him so much more dangerous.
Yeah, now we've hit the 8-minute mark. Void Grubs are up. Level 7 for JunJia. So we're going to be seeing a lot of lights going out, and there it is.
Speak about
we're
it.
Go straight onto the backside. Heal is good. It's going to be enough as the fear is nice. Duro's just gone.
Equalizer.
JunJia able to pick it up. The equalizer does a lot of damage. Chovy getting cooked. It's fried chicken, but now looking for JunJia going in to try and steal one out. The Cyclone's even better. They did pick it up. Canyon returns the kill, but is it going to be enough as the public execution's good? Vampire is still so tanky. They're able to pick up another Void Grub. Canyon over the wall. Surviving the building. No, the double flashes, triple flashes. It's a lot to deal with. Kiin holding the line. Staying alive just too long. The damage is good. Chovy able to lock them down with the crystallize, but they have to get away. Vampire is still here. Level 7 HongQ might be able to go for it, but still can't get there.
Ends up being a 3 for 2. Not bad from Gen.G at all. Chovy doesn't lose the egg and catches some wonderful late fight stuns. This looked really rough for Gen.G to begin with a great initial pick on the support, but then they all end up in the Baron Pit with a cycloning Wukong, and the flashes that follow get messy because Chovy eventually ends up untouched. This starts again with Duro getting blasted. The equalizer traps you in the pit. You're thinking, great, JDG, this should be yours, but they don't confirm an egg from Chovy, and Cyclone from Canyon is brutal.
Yeah, and I love Vampire was actually around the back trying to chase out Duro, but they're already gone, so looking for a slight re-engage flank was so nice as they get back in, but so many flashes.
The thing is here, look at Chovy, right? You see the Realm Warp in from HongQ, you think this is great, but just that ability to stay at the edge of the fight and continue to mess with the play means that they get a kill. They probably should never have been donated, so they end up with a slightly losing kill drain, sure, but they get more of the grubs and they get significantly more than they might otherwise have done. Not bad from Gen.G.
Not bad to hold back, and it is still 7 kills to 2. The gold lead did not change. It's still a 1.5k gold lead to JDG, and it is JunJia going to be able to come over and pick up just one little Void Grub. Not all the mites, but it's something.
No, it's not. Eyes also towards some of these Gen.G laners, right? Because again, Kiin's now up a little bit of CS. We'll see exactly where Xiaoxu ends up after this wave comes on in. Gala's already collected that wave in the turret. And look, 3-0-1 had some interesting resets to get that gold out, to get dived. All those things are affecting those CS numbers. But still, real credit to Ruler for just pumping up those CS numbers and denying Gala a fair amount. You do outrange the Xayah with the Q, and Xayah has always hated champions that can outrange her. Hence why she used to be heavily countered by things like Varus in the past.
Yeah, that's it. Even the Caitlyn, that's still quite in the meta too.
Very
You
true.
really don't want to go up against it. But still, Ruler on this Ezreal. Lots of ones across the board, but still, we'll have to see if they're able to hold on a little bit longer. Like you said, it's still the very scaling comp that we get out of Gen.G. We want to get those items online, and Ruler very close to that Triforce.
Yeah, and again, not the Gala's in a bad spot here, make no mistake about it. About to cash in the cull, will still be very dangerous, but it is worth giving credit where it's due, and Gen.G have done a decent job here of stabilizing what was looking like a very alarming snowball. It's still 1,500 gold lead, it's still JDG in a good position of the game. Mountain Dragon is up, but it's Gen.G in the river first.
Yeah, still the first Dragon of the game, funnily enough. So it's been 11 minutes and neither team's able to get there.
A bit too much violence.
There's too much fighting across the board, but we love to see that. It's going to be pretty spicy as it goes forward. LCK versus the LPL. Both these two regions love a good scrap.
That they do. So, role quests can begin to get completed. Gen.G in the river, as we noted. Do start with that dragon and pull off it a little bit nervous, and I think rightly so. JunJia's here with the Hex Plate, and of course that level 9, so fully maxed out Q and the R. Dangerous to go in without knowing exactly where the Nocturne is and how ready you are to play.
All ultimates are upline and across the board. We are going to see that Ruler's Mirage is going to come back up, but Dragon being controlled by JDG, they're on it now, and they're looking to take it as there was a reset coming out, so looks like it is going to be Gen.G just conceding it.
Yeah, it should be. Ruler just completed his rule quest as well, so that's kind of given themselves some lump sums, so that gold lead in bot lane is a lot more nominal. In fact, with the cull about to be cashed in from Ruler as well, I'm imagining that ends up being a lot more even in general. We saw there those rogue quests getting complete by Gala as well, and that gold bumping back up again. So I imagine by the time that cull cashes in, Gala will have that 500 or so gold lead. Paranoid's got procced. Where are we going?
Getting out the lights. Okay, in mid, just getting out. Duro living on 10 HP. Not too bad, but on the top side, Xiaoxu just not able to do anything with it, but still
Lovely.
the execution doesn't land. Canyon goes down.
Kiin's in trouble.
Xiaoxu is just enough. Kiin is burnt out. The double kill for the Rumble after the failed tower dive is not what you want.
Let's get ready to rumble here in the Kidia City Battleground. Great stuff from Xiaoxu, and more importantly, Vampire. He's been clutch now at defending 2 separate tower dives, and this time he's there. He body blocks the ult from the Ambessa. He gets in to give the shield to Xiaoxu, who just gets to sit there barbecuing away with his feet up.
Yeah, that is what you really want to be doing nowadays, especially in the heat here in Paris. It's not too bad. Couple snags on the Barbie, as we like to say in Australia. But let's watch that play again, because you're right. They went so deep. Kiin took so many tower shots. They tried to hold on. If that public execution landed, Xiaoxu probably would have gone down, and it could have been a different fight. But JDG, and you're right, Vampire, sucking the life out of Gen.G right now.
I remember having a conversation in that last game about most important players versus best players. I think Vampire has quietly become one of JDG's very best players, and that's an impressive glow up from a player who was part of a squad that was lovingly nicknamed by the community the EDG Doom Squad. They really struggled, and that's putting it kindly. That's putting it in a way that is broadcast friendly. He then joined JDG, and people were unsure, to say the least, about what we were going to see from a player who had so many questions about the level he could bring, the inconsistencies. And over time, with Tarbay behind him to really give him the hero on the Rakan, is having a stellar showing. 100% KP, involved in all of these fights in critical ways. And you have to give credit to a player who has stuck with it and not let the really tough lows define his highs.
But the Realm Mob's coming in. Pop Blossom's going to land onto 2, but I think Duro's just going to get caught out. And it is again Vampire, still 100% kill participation. Right place, right time.
Sometimes, folks, you do a little bit of hero building for a player and you get some footage to back it up. Vampire turns up with HongQ, and we said if this Rakan starts to off vision, it becomes a lot more dangerous when he's unpredictable. Add in a Realm Warp, in this case, add in a Paranoia and others, and things get very challenging indeed. JunJia will use that opportunity to turn that into a Herald as well, and JDG are accelerating well.
It truly is a grand entrance for Vampire on this Rakan, because it is looking so good and the impact's great. But Rift Herald now secured over the side of JDG. They can probably drop this really anywhere they want, but it's all about maximizing the potential. With the Dragon up in 1 minute and 45, I suspect they're going to be dropping it mid and trying to get some priority.
Okay, eyes on some of these timers. You can save it for the Dragon. You are into an Anivia, which makes things a little bit awkward for when you drop the Herald, because the Crystallize is so good at just saying no to any attempted Herald play. What you can potentially use it for is a Battle Herald. You get it in as effectively an extra half a member. You have someone like a Rakan hop into the Herald.
Paranoia
or a Paranoia.
Down. See if it's going to be enough as the egg is still available. The fear is good. It's underneath the tail of the Cyclone too. JunJia does have to use the shield. Seeing a Cyclone cancels out, dodges out the grand entrance. But now Chovy staying alive. Oh, Xiaoxu is TPing up, but they have to back away.
So you get a little bit there. There's a flash off of Chovy. There's an egg off of Chovy. Comes at the cost of the ult from JunJia. With the Hexplate in the level 11, it's not a particularly extensive cooldown anymore. Likely that will be up for the Dragon. And let me introduce you once more, folks, back home, to a concept in the LPL we love to call cooldown economy. We've got a couple minutes until the next objective, namely this Dragon. What do you want to do in that time? Well, you've got 50 seconds where you could blow an ult. If you trade that for a flash, if you trade that for the egg passive from the Anivia, they are not going to be up for a critical team fight here. And now Chovy, down those key summoners, down that key passive, is very vulnerable coming into what could be a game-deciding fight.
Yeah, it's going to have to force them to play so much safer, a little bit further back, and they were already playing so far back in a lot of these other team fights, so forcing them into a slight disadvantage. But at the end of the day, it's Chovy. They might take the risk. They're calculated. They could make the play. As you're right, looking for some. TP plays coming down, but yeah, it is Gen.G forming in mass.
They've got the Rumble on the other side. JunJia's forced to flash over the Crystallize. There's another good win there. We'll have the ult to work with. Gala and Xiaoxu looking to fight through this mid lane. Remember, they've got that Herald. Can be used as a potential wagon here in the fight.
Yeah, Zeke's arm guard as well for Vampires is going to be really helpful in this next team fight. It's getting those extra little bit of shields, but Xiaoxu forcing down. We're still seeing another TP is going to be coming down to the tower, so Kiin is joining this fight too. There's the Paranoia going back in. While Pop Blossom's good at his equalizer. Is it going to be enough? The equalizer burns through. Ruler lands every mystic shot possible. It's not enough. Realm Warp is sending so many members. They're chasing them as far as they can. Kiin picked up JunJia, but is it enough?
It's not.
Canyon is running to a tower, and 3 members strong of JDG win out the fight.
The Rumble comes away with a triple kill. It is a heat wave here in Paris, and I think it might be Xiaoxu's fault. He is 6-1. You did kill JunJia. You did get Vampire. But again, we talked about this. You turn the lights out, and you have this Rakan with a very aggressive build. They all get locked on top of the hottest barbecue of your life.
It's such a big play there as well, and there was nothing you could do. The lights go out, and then the fire lands underneath. Honestly, I'm scared of fire in the dark too, but because that was magical. But we'll have to see. They get the Dragon as well. Oh, well, now they're getting the Dragon, actually. They didn't go back for it. They looked for a reset.
They did, and I think that's probably wise. They now get the opportunity for JunJia to come out. There is no going to be weird smite fight options that maybe a flash and a W from Canyon could have caused some shenanigans. True Shot Barrage, the attempted steal, not really in range though. Ruler, I note it. Nice attempt. I'll give you that option. Unfortunately now, though, for the side of Gen.G, they are down 2 Dragons, down 2,000 gold, and it's where the gold is that's a little scary. This Rumble is very, very ahead. Gala's still got a lot of kills. I'll give credit to Ruler. He's doing very well to get value.
Yeah, Rift Herald now being spawned here, so they're going to get a good charge off on this tier 2.
Nice.
Gonna lock it down to the gold lead. Is now starting to move forward a little bit more. 2K over the side of JDG. They might lose a tier 1 up in this top side, but not the end of the world. A really good trade still. But Gen.G now needs to start thinking about these next big fights as Baron's up 15 seconds.
And look, Gen.G have made some very specific decisions here in terms of farm allocation. Kiin is being said, look, mate, we need to give this farm to Chovy, and also Canyon, you're going to have some camps stolen away from you, but we might well give some to Ruler, because how do we win this game? The Anivia and the Ezreal need to get back into it. Chovy's now slightly ahead, and despite the triple kill to start this game at level 1, Ruler is up 3240 CS and 800 gold. He is in a great position here. This Muramana transformation is a little late, but it will be here and is building towards what looks to be a Spear of Shojin. You hit that, and these fights get a lot more winnable.
It's a 3-item power spike for the Ezreal. You said it at the start of the game. If Ruler's got this lead now, you can only imagine how explosive it could be later on. They're finding great space, along with Chovy as this Anivia, holding that line further. But you're right. Canyon still falling really far behind. They're basically just a Cyclone at this point. They're just going to go straight to the grave. It's not what you want, as you want to see that impact. but JunJia doing a great job. The light's going out, and they're making the right plays at the exact right time.
And again, we'll need to keep an eye on things like Chovy's passive will be up again shortly-ish, but not right now. And there is a window here for JDG to use things like this Rakan and this Nocturne to play towards something like a 6-kill Rumble, hint, or towards HongQ's getting topped up by Duro.
It does land. There's public
Interrupt,
but it's up by Vampire. Absolutely smurfing that fight, taking
just
the
too
right.
good.
But is it going to be enough? Xiaoxu drops the equalizer. It burns all 4 members. Feather Storm. It doesn't land as they recall the feathers. But now they're trying to turn it around. But it is Gen.G. They're low. They're in danger if they re-engage. But they walk away with their lives.
Oh, Vampire. Hats off to this support player. Gets in the way of the Ambessa ult and denies the follow-up onto HongQ. The Ambessa ends up an inch away from where she started, and HongQ gets to run away. Kiin puts his hands up in the air and goes, well, guess I die.
Oh, look, again, we've said it, Vampire looking so incredibly on form in this game too. You love to see it, especially against this kind of opponent. It's so hard to come back from losing a game 1, but to see JDG playing so incredibly well, not just in team fights, but laning too, is absolutely perfect.
Okay, Chovy just ticks over to the 10 stack on the rower. He's in a good position here, gets him up another level there. Not quite to 15, which is a frustration point, but should still be able to get there in time for this next Dragon. Level 16 would have been preferable for the max rank on that Glacial Storm, but frankly, you take what you can get. Eyes also on Ruler. My suspicion is he's going to be donated a wave and a half of multiple lanes here, probably some camps to try and get that Shojin in. They don't want to give Soul Point up to make this playable. The problem is you're looking at something like this Rumble who's likely edging towards something like a Shadow Flame 3rd, and you are really, really nervous about what the damage profile is going to be in this next fight.
Yeah, it's smart that Kiin went for that Hex Drinker nice and early, but they might need to finish that one off real soon because there is another big fight about to break. Yeah, everyone's about to reset, get those items online.
Is it here? This has to be here for Ruler. He's selling his passive. There it is. Its starting item goes for the Endless Hunger and the Longsword. Okay, so he's decided against the Shojin. Again, I didn't see the tunnel in there, so realistically it was going to be the Endless Hunger. But what this means is if you are in a fight, your ability to stay in it is significant. Get that kill, get that passive rolling, and you can try and just outlast with your passive to get more Arcane Shift up, to get more healing up and run from there. With that, and of course the Anivia, extended controlled fights are winnable for Gen.G. It's not easy position, but it's doable. JDG, the ball is in their court. Make no mistake about it.
Oh, it's going to be a tall order still, but now Dragon up in 20 seconds. We'll have to see, as it is going to be JDG getting deep vision control in the top side jungle. We'll have to see as they're going to be moving forward and just trying to map it out.
Little note there as well, HongQ's rower ticked over later. That means he's nearly at level 16. Gen.G are doing a T1, they're flipping for the Baron.
Yeah, but they're on the vision, they know that they're on it, so let's see if they can actually make this play go forward. Chovy's there, does have the egg, keep that over. No
HongQ.
Xiaoxu, but yeah, what's going to happen? HongQ's not there, Realmorph's going to be available. But there's the Paranoia, the lights go out, Equalize is good, but they're shifting away, Featherstorm not going to land.
Paranoia.
They're going straight back in. It's going to be enough as the Cyclone's used. A bit of damage going forward, but they get them off the Baron.
They do, but it comes at a bit of a cost there, actually. A couple flashes blown. I think I saw that from Xiaoxu, from JunJia, and actually Gen.G held on to theirs. Those are fairly big wins. The problem is it means they're not in position to fight around this Dragon, and that likely means it's JDG's for free.
Yeah, and that's going to be Soul Point. It's another Infernal Dragon Soul, which is all of this damage we want to see. And with HongQ on this rise, one of his staple picks, he will be punching them so hard with a lot of these shots.
Okay. They do get that mid lane turret. We'll take a little bit of a step back and have a look at the game state. JDG are in control. They've gotten Soul Point, but this gold lead hasn't ballooned beyond reach for Gen.G. They've done a good job about picking up gold and putting it onto key members. We've chatted about Ruler. Ruler, Ezreal, do I need to say more? No. Anyone who knows League of Legends, who knows Pro Esports, knows about this guy on the champion. You've obviously given Chovy a lot of farm, a lot of CS. He's in a good spot as well. The problem is, as I now look over to JDG, I am seeing Gala 302, sure behind a little bit, but it's going to be very close to that Infinity Edge. Xiaoxu on the Rumble, there's the Infinity Edge I was talking about, and HongQ's got the Actualizer. Your damage is obscene right now from JDG, and with the fact that you are largely in control of where vision is on the Rift, you dictate that on the whole, you have that choice. That means things like this very strong Rakan, who's been having a great game, has Vampire alongside JunJia on a accelerated Nocturne, are able to come from very awkward angles and threaten more carries than Gen.G can do the same.
We need to take a breath. Because you know what? I think there's a storm brewing. It's not just a glacial storm.
Very good.
There's a little bit more. Because this is where we're entering into a strong late game for both these teams. You mentioned the Rumble, and look at that gold graph. Yeah, slight incremental leads, but it's still that 2.5k. Dragon Soul point for JDG, but it's only up in 3.5 minutes. So is Baron going to be one of these next moves, as already Vampire's here putting out vision?
Okay. Hex Drinker in for Ruler is a big one. And literally, as I was speaking it, Logan was pointing. Oh, Logan, Pike was pointing. Logan's actually over on the side.
Look that good.
By the way. Yeah, well, very kind. All the while, as we are about to head towards a potential Baron setup as well here. That Hex Drinker potentially pretty big because, again, the doubles AP solo lanes are one of the big threats towards Ruler. His job in this game and his build that he has decided to go towards is to stay alive and keep putting out damage. Gen.G's comp works better the longer the fights go.
Yes. No, absolutely. But I'm worried about Kiin. Like, these public executions are not hitting their mark, and it's all on Vampire to disrupt these plays. So we'll have to see if they're going to be trying to do anything more around that and how Vampire's going to position this fight. Because, yes, you're going to get that paranoia, but is it going to be enough to get to the back line?
So, Gen.G managed to get a lot of wards down around this Baron. They're going to start it up again, try to drag JDG in. Watch Kiin on the flank. There's a reset coming from Xiaoxu, who I am assuming is going to go for the TP. He's got the arm guard. He's got a needlessly large rod. Duro on the flank. Here we go.
Yeah, now there's the Pop Blossom. They're looking at HongQ, but Vampire's in there. Paranoia too. Straight to the back line. But is it going to be enough as Gala picks up one?
Kiin.
Is it going to be enough? Kiin's on the backside. The damage to the flash into the wall. HongQ gets the damage. They've taken out Ruler. Canyon's running for their life. And yes, it was JDG still winning it out, but Kiin has the damage. Is going to be enough as there's the feathers. Flash not enough. It still hits. Gala takes out Kiin in a 1v1. Chovy trying to hold on, but does.
He can keep going.
He can look a little bit more. It's so much damage. Oh,
Sonya's
going golden,
Canyon.
holding out that storm.
Lovely.
It's enough and picks it up. Chovy getting it done.
Chovy by name, champion by nature. This player is just unreal. The crowd comes to life behind us. I said, the longer the fights go, the better it is for Gen.G. At first, it was in context of Ruler. He dies. You know who else could do pretty well in a long fight? An Anivia with 3 items. The storm comes out, and JDG are looking at their hands on those keyboards because they got frostbite.
Oh, look, and if you lose a couple fingers here and there, it's really hard to click that mouse. But still, the fight was so good and quite even at the end of the day. But the gold lead has just been flipped on its head. It's a 400 lead now, only for JDG. We have to pull it back. We got time on the board with a Dragon up in 40, but Baron still a threat.
So this is important because the Baron doesn't go down, Soul will be available shortly, but now Gen.G find themselves in a dangerous position. This fight was very split, but the thing is, HongQ is caught inside the Glacial Storm. He's CC'd up, and that big shield and the actualizer value is mitigated. Kiin manages to dance around here, and Gala burns the flash, does get Kiin, but it comes at heavy cost. Remember, the range issues we were worried about for JDG come to the fore here. Chovy just ices them out of the play. Arm guard means nothing. Xayah can't come in. We'll come back to life. Baron still being photoed.
Yeah, absolutely cold-blooded there by Chovy. We'll have to see if they can continue this fight as we're entering into such a late game where almost everyone's at level 18.
Hang on.
Featherstorm already been used. Chovy been pulled in. Pop Blossom gets 3! It's enough! Chovy locks them down. Where did Gala go? But the paranoia's good. It's only an egg though. Double kill for Chovy. It's just huge out of Gen.G. Xiaoxu could not hold on, has to retreat, and it's Gen.G turning to the Baron.
This game started with a triple kill to Gala with the worst possible level 1. It doesn't matter one bit. They fight after fight after fight, and Baron is theirs.
Holding on to that title is what Gen.G want to do here in Game 2. And wow, a star-studded class. Look at this play. The Feather Storm went up. The Barrage hits. Pop Blossom straight up blows them up.
I remember saying, hey, JDG, fun comp, especially if you can go forwards. Watch out for the range discrepancy. Watch out for the wall. Xayah will struggle into it. Rise will struggle into it. Guess what, Pyke? They struggled into it so much, they ended up in a hole and down Baron and 3,500 gold.
And you gave such a big lead there to Gala at the start of the game. Where's it gone? It is still Ruler ruling this map. The damage is so good. And now they're sieging down mid.
JDG have had a pretty good run at this tournament. I've been excited watching them for the majority of this year. It's been some really cool things we've seen from this roster. But Gen.G, you just can't count them out. They weren't at MSI, but they've taken the time away to sharpen their knives, prep their weapons, and look to slit the throats of JDG.
Oh, and it's just so rough as now they've taken the first mid-inhib. Gen.G, they've flipped the script as they always do. Down but never out as they enter into a 5k gold lead, starting to siege down this bot side too. This is just absolute cinema gameplay.
I have a sneaking suspicion a lot of folks counted Gen.G out because they had a pretty rough time in
Public
spring.
execution.
This is wrong.
It's enough for the Paranoia Scooters. They're going for a little bit more. The tower's gone. Can they hold on? HongQ picks up Kiin.
Look at Ruler.
He's holding on. 1v3. He can get this done. Goes golden, but it's not too enough. Gala gets it done. It's all too much. Gen.G, they had the Baron, but Gala had another story to tell.
And the moment we start waxing lyrical about Gen.G, it goes so very wrong. 24-14. We are at 38 kills in 32 minutes. Paris, are you not entertained?
We said they'd eat good tonight, and I was not wrong. An absolute game on our hands. Oh, initialize.
Right, so we have to try and break this one down because basically Gen.G full send, and they think they're in a good position. They want to get the most out of the Baron that they can. But this time, the dive goes a little wrong. You jump on Xiaoxu, but the counter engage, the LPL special, full contact, team fighting. You dive my backline, let me return the favor. It goes wrong for Gen.G. Gala gets a fight where he is untouched, and he gets to run rampant.
Oh, the gold lead now sitting only at 1k for Gen.G. So we have to see if they can pull this one back again, as there was 5k gold up, the biggest lead we've seen all game, and now it's just flipped once again. As the game slows down, objectives really not on the board, 2 minutes really till anything, and it is that drag. Still, sole point for JDG.
Gold at this point means very little.
Yep.
It's not really relevant. It's much more about map positioning. It's much more around where we're at in terms of the item breakpoints. Double GA up and available for Kiin, for Canyon. We've got a Medjai's in for Chovy for a little bit more value. Look at Ruler's infantry as well. Very, very scary. Of course, Gala at 4.5 items is nothing to sniff about. You've got the Zhonyas for Xiaoxu, GA for JunJia. Lots of these tools will be key. That initial kill isn't a guarantee right now, so when you do pull the trigger, and this goes for both teams, you better damn well not miss, and that will be important because look at the top left corner of your screen. Minute and a half till a potential soul for JDG. Baron 30 seconds after. You win that fight around the soul, you likely get Baron too.
Big thing there, though, there's still supers pushing down mid, so Gen.G have that slight advantage where they get those auto shoves going forward. It is going to be on either Gala or HongQ to be at those mid waves to sort of stop that and push it out a little bit more. But both teams, they're looking at this drag.
Okay, look at the map positioning right now. There is one ward I want you to note very deep in this bot side for Gen.G. Would be a fantastic position for Kiin to get into. There are no spell books, so no supports will be getting down there, but that can still be pretty key. JDG going to get a lot of wards into the blue side jungle of Gen.G of their own, and they will be in a position to control the river. Them being in there first makes it a little bit more difficult for people like Chovy, people like Ruler to keep getting that poke down and abusing their range advantage. Let's see, though, whether they can hold on to it, because they did lose mid-push in order to do this.
30 seconds. Drag will be up. 2K gold lead just on Chovy right now. Very scary bird on the map. Full build. That Rabadon's death cap is looking scary, especially with a Banshee's Veil too. The shields are good. But now, we'll have to see who's going to pull that trigger first. Vampire, a little bit deep, has not been spotted out just yet. Xiaoxu also there. Now they know. Dragon spawned, and finding Vampire there was good. It did slow them a bit more.
Just keep an eye on Kiin as well here. He can look for an angle. The Dragon is started. This flip could be huge. Gen.G starting, half HP. Look at HongQ.
HongQ being caught now. Kiin.
Oh boy!
Said maybe we can find them realm
Oh
warp.
no!
Is it just enough? Gets them out of dodge, but the Dragon's gone. Gen.G snuck it away. Now they're looking for the re-engage fire. Parallel. Vampire
low.
has to be careful.
Ouch.
Oh, barrage not gonna land as Vampire does get out.
Some way, somehow, no one died doing that. The health bars got precipitous, but not absolute zero. The problem is Gen.G can just run straight over to Baron, and sure, the kills might not be there, but JDG, you need to get back on the map fast because you want to stop the purple worm going down.
Yeah, Paranoia did get used, so we'll have to see if that cooldown's going to be enough as the Baron is just getting shredded. It's the end of the game. Xiaoxu dropping the equalizer. Is it going to be enough damage, though? It's not on the Baron, and it's just secured. Dragon Baron fight.
It's on the pits. Kiin on the back end of the players. Gala's doing some damage. Vampire's there as well. It's chaos.
It's all too much. There's the resurrections coming forward. Chovy's trying to slow them down. Flash over the wall. Is Ruler going to have the damage?
Oh, he does.
Get shit over the wall. Paranoia's back. They're going on top, but look at him go. Oh, Gen.G. They're just falling. Chovy wants to take out one more. Gen.G. are locking this game out. It's only Gala holding the line against a force of Gen.G. Absolute soldiers. They're looking to end this game. They have the Baron. Maybe they can slow down Gala trying to clear this one out. The GA is still up for Canyon. If they can look and find
they're going to get him.
And it's just a little bit too far.
Boy.
Flashes go forward. Slash, stash, and slice.
No way. Hang on.
Gala. Oh my lord. Able to hold on a little bit more.
He needs to get back. He needs to get back. They're on the Nexus turret and Gala's doing red buff. They've delayed him long enough. Kiin's death. Poisonous.
He can't do it. It's Gen.G. Down but never out is the story of this team, and they are holding that title here at EWC, and the crowd is going wild.
Somehow, someway, despite the worst level 1 you can imagine, a triple kill over to Azaya to begin it all. It doesn't matter. Gen.G with masterful team fighting.